So how do most successful entrepreneurs generate their ideas? It begins with a few important factors. Industry expertise, deeply understanding the area in which your customer and your product play. The marketplace, understanding the other things your customer base buys, uses, and the process by which they decide to and buy products. It's different in different marketplaces. The product you're actually developing and how to formulate it, adjust it, sometimes pivot with it to make it fit into your target marketplace, where you can sell it for a price that makes sense. Price. What is the customer willing to pay for it? A price that allows you to operate your business effectively and profitably, and also pays the cost of selling that product to the customer, supporting that customer with customer support, billing that customer, and covering the overhead of your operation. We'll do this by looking at some case studies of some startups and understanding the difference between novelty and usefulness. Our purpose is to shift your lens as an entrepreneur from idea formation to problem identification and products that deliver real solutions. The first thing to consider as you develop your idea is something that Thomas Edison spent a great deal of time with and can teach us all a lesson from. It is said that Thomas Edison experimented at least 1,000 times before he got an incandescent light bulb to work the way he wanted. The interesting motivational quote that we hear is that he didn't fail 1,000 times. He just found 1,000 ways to get closer to finding the right solution. What's relevant about this is that taking the time to clearly understand the formation of a real solution that works is critical. Developing a light bulb that only partly glows or theoretically glows, but you don't know whether it works or whether it produces the kind of light that a customer is going to buy, or is too expensive for the customer, does not make a successful entrepreneurial startup business. We're going to take a few minutes to walk through some startup origin stories. Let's look at some of the startups that have been successful and see if we can understand some of the important lessons they learned rather than trying to relearn them ourselves. The topics we're going to cover are building something people want, how to generate a great idea, and the several different ways to get there. This is clearly one of the most important things to learn, and that is why we're spending so much time emphasizing this. You've got to get this right for everything else to work. Let's take a step back and understand why you're starting this company. Then we can walk through an extremely effective process to help you understand the problem in a much more concrete way. We'll do this by identifying the roots of this problem and directly mapping them to the needs of your customer, the customer base, and the unique sustainability and differentiated position that you can attain in your market with the proper product and pricing. Once we've accomplished this, we'll then apply all the other elements, such as making sure the unit economics and the financial program, the distribution and the sales costs and the process all work. We're going to go through this in some depth about how to think about and think through and evolve the development of your product and company to develop a great idea into a great business. Here are 4 ways to get there. First is something referred to as scratching your own itch. That means finding a problem that you have understood clearly from a personal point of view. You'd love to solve that problem, and you think there are other potential customers who have that same problem and would love to have it solved. They have the same interests. They'd be willing to pay for that product, and that's what you focus on. The second is taking an idea from another marketplace or product environment and translating it to solving a problem that exists in your specific market with your specific customer base. We'll talk more about that in a moment. The third, what we call catching the wave or predicting what's happening as you introduce a product that's following the tech or product wave into the future. The last one is about changing the world. This is about developing products that change the paradigm of your environment or your world. Although this is very unusual and most often requires a huge mindset shift and a lot of money, it is an element that we should talk about just so you understand the total landscape of what we're trying to do and developing great ideas. At the end of this module, we hope that you'll have a very clear concept of how to build the right product around a real problem. You'll have key takeaways so that your action item will be to identify your startup origin profile in a way that gives you confidence and will allow you to get funding.